sends her countless apology messages, but Ji-won never replies. Since they work in the same office, avoiding each other is impossible. They sit directly across from one another, yet Ji-won refuses to acknowledge her existence. One day, when Ji-won leaves the restroom, Soo-min is waiting right outside. Startled, Ji-won bolts and crashes straight into a supply cart. A sharp pain shoots through her knee. That spot was where she was injured in her previous life, in the pantry. Even now, she still couldn't avoid it. Does rebirth really fail to change fate? But then Ji-won realizes something is off. The scar that should have appeared yesterday is gone. That mark should already be there. Does this mean there's a flaw in fate she hasn't discovered yet? Inside the elevator, a man pretends it's crowded, acting convincingly uncomfortable. Trapped and unable to move, the woman beside him suddenly reaches out and lightly pokes him with a finger. Despite speaking coldly, the man only becomes more emboldened. Clearly, she's not someone to mess with. But she has one foolishly loyal best friend, someone who would risk everything for her with just a few sweet words. What Soo-min doesn't realize is that this best friend has already been reborn. Smiling sweetly, Ji-won casually says she heard an interesting story. There was a woman with terminal cancer. She had only a year left to live. Then she discovered her husband was having an affair with her best friend. She sighs softly. That kind of best friend really isn't human, is she? Young Soo-min continues speaking, completely unaware that the best friend she is criticizing is actually herself. If Ji-won hadn't been reborn, she would never have realized how skilled Soo-min was at pretending. What Ji-won remembers most clearly is that, near the end of her previous life, when she didn't have much time left, Min-hwan and Soo-min were already together. The only question is, when did it start this time? She even directly brings up breaking up with him. But as expected, what he can't have suddenly becomes more desirable. Soon after, Min-hwan sends Ji-won a message. He tells her that in order to return the money he owed her, he sold the Lotus stock that was rapidly rising. Ji-won isn't touched by his gesture. Instead, she realizes something important. She has discovered a rule of rebirth. The profits that Min-hwan was originally destined to earn from Lotus stock were transferred because she invested first. As a result, he was forced to sell early. This leads her to a clear conclusion. What is meant to happen will still happen. It simply happens to a different person. Just like on the first day she was reborn, when boiling water was about to spill onto her. It was Yoo Ji-hyuk who blocked it for her. While thanking him, Ji-won suddenly noticed a burn mark on his arm. Panicked, she reached out and pulled up his sleeve. The scar was identical to the one that used to be on her arm. That was when Ji-won first realized something was terribly wrong. But Ji-hyuk's intense gaze made her instantly freeze. Now everything makes sense. Certain events cannot be avoided, but they can be redirected to someone else. And if they can't be redirected, then someone must bear them alone. That means, if someone else replaces her and marries Park Min-hwan, then she won't have to walk toward that tragic fate again. At that moment, young Soo-min interrupts her thoughts. Are you even listening to me? Soo-min asks. If I throw you away, would you throw me away too? Soo-min doesn't understand Ji-won's meaning at all, but she politely replies that she'll help Ji-won take care of things later. In that instant, Kang Ji-won makes up her mind. The naive Soo-min has no idea that the trash Ji-won is referring to is the man she currently sees as a precious treasure. From Min-hwan's shifting expressions alone, it's obvious, their relationship is already slowly heating up. But what she doesn't know is that someone else has already fixed their gaze on her, and has even begun investigating her background. As soon as Ji-won enters the room, Yoo Ji-hyuk hangs up the phone. Noticing the pain from her burn, Won deliberately buys ointment and hands it to him. She has no ulterior motive, she simply wants to thank him. Ji-hyuk, however, seems to remember everything. He carefully divides the medicine into portions and reminds her not to forget to treat the injury on her leg as well. Ji-won doesn't think too much of it. She doesn't realize that Ji-hyuk may already have feelings for her. But from outside, someone is watching. Park Min-hwan notices something is wrong. No wonder Ji-won has been ignoring him lately. He signals to her with his eyes, suggesting they go outside to talk. Ji-won doesn't want to acknowledge that trash at all, but for now, she knows she must pretend to reconcile with him. Because the real plan has only just begun. So that Young Soo-min could have more opportunities to get close to Park Min-hwan, Ji-won deliberately pretends to reconcile with him. But their little schemes don't go unnoticed. Yoo Ji-hyuk sees everything clearly. In order to push Young Soo-min closer to Park Min-hwan, Ji-won knows she may even be gambling with an entire lifetime. All she does is unbutton 2 buttons on her blouse, and Min-hwan's eyes immediately begin to wander. He gets so excited that he can't even control himself and instinctively reaches out, wanting to touch her. At that exact moment, Yoo Ji-hyuk arrives at the office and sees everything. Perhaps too distracted, Ji-won accidentally knocks over the lunchbox on the desk. To ease the awkwardness of being caught staring, Ji-hyuk walks over and criticizes her, saying that dressing like this isn't appropriate for work. Min-hwan, on the other hand, thinks it looks great and even urges her to go on ahead. Ji-hyuk quickly realizes he spoke too harshly and tries to smooth things over, saying that maybe it just feels unfamiliar because she isn't wearing her glasses. He adds that he noticed it yesterday as well. The moment he says that, Min-hwan's expression changes. As Ji-hyuk awkwardly avoids eye contact, Ji-won suddenly realizes Ji-hyuk is wearing contact lenses today too. The atmosphere grows even stranger. Just then, a coworker eager to flatter steps in and exaggerates the situation, but Ji-hyuk immediately cuts them off. Only then does Min-hwan piece it together, so the two of them had gone to get glasses together yesterday. Later, Ji-won takes out the earrings Soo-min gave her and finally realizes they're fake. Not only that, the difference is obvious, cheap enough to look like something bought from a bargain shop. As Ji-won is thinking about how to deal with Soo-min, someone suddenly scares her from behind. It's Yang Hyun. Seeing something fall to the ground, Hyun quickly picks it up for her. She doesn't expose the fake earrings, only casually asks where Ji-won bought them. When she hears that Soo-min bought them, her expression subtly darkens. Hyun has long despised Soo-min. Once, Hyun was trapped in a restroom, desperately asking anyone who entered if they could help her get a sanitary pad. Faced with the same request, Ji-won and Soo-min reacted completely differently. That small act of kindness ended up changing Hyun's entire life. From that moment on, Hyun firmly believes Ji-won is her savior and stubbornly insists on repaying her kindness. Ji-won can't help thinking that kids these days are a bit dramatic, but when Hyun finds out Soo-min deliberately gave Ji-won fake earrings to embarrass her at a class reunion, she becomes furious. She drags Ji-won to a luxury salon, insisting on giving her a complete makeover. Ji-won tries to refuse, but Hyun doesn't allow it. Soon, the class reunion begins. Ji-won appears in sky-high heels and an elegant outfit. Soo-min is instantly stunned. The male classmates can't take their eyes off her. Some female classmates, consumed by jealousy, sneer that even an ugly duckling is trying to imitate Soo-min by wearing the same earrings. But a male classmate immediately disagrees, saying Ji-won's earrings look far more refined and high-end, while Soo-min's look cheap and crude. The situation completely reverses. Soo-min becomes the one accused of copying, and someone even mocks her, saying that if she's going to imitate someone, she should at least buy the real thing, because her fake is embarrassingly obvious. Soo-min is mortified. Seeing the timing is right, Ji-won stands up and says she's going to the restroom. Following her memories from her previous life, she hides inside the bathroom. Back then, the girls who bullied her would gather here and talk behind her back. This time, Reborn Ji-won refuses to let history repeat itself. Just as before, they start gossiping about her. But now, Ji-won storms out and fires back without hesitation. She exposes Soo-min's actions one by one, thinking this will finally clear the misunderstandings. What she never expects is that this confrontation will draw out her first love, someone who disappeared from her life over 10 years ago, and completely alter the course of fate. What Ji-won doesn't know is that all of this is being subtly guided by Yoo Ji-hyuk behind the scenes. She stood on the rooftop in an unusually good mood, as if she could sense that her trashy boyfriend, Park Min-hwan, was about to leave her life. She was so absorbed in listening to music that she didn't notice Yoo Ji-hyuk, the department head, approaching from behind. Her phone slipped from her hand, and Ji-hyuk instinctively bent down to pick it up for her. When he noticed she was also reading bird books and liked Gangnam Style, he blurted out that he liked them too. Still not fully processing what he'd said, Kang Ji-won casually replied that she had even thought about jumping Komil 4. What was meant to be light-hearted banter suddenly turned serious when Ji-won realized something was very wrong. She began to suspect that the man standing in front of her might not be an ordinary person. At the same time, Ji-hyuk realized he had said too much. Their strange back and forth sounded like secret code. After all, this was 2013. Those references shouldn't even exist in this timeline. Ji-won had been reborn into this time because of her husband Park Min-hwan and her best friend Young Soo-min. Already terminally ill with cancer, she should have died naturally, yet Min-hwan pushed her to her death just so he could be with Soo-min. Ji-won believed her rebirth was a blessing from heaven, but then what was Ji-hyuk? Clearly, he was a regressor too. What Ji-won didn't know was that Ji-hyuk's reason for returning to the past was her. After Ji-won's death, Ji-hyuk attended her funeral, overwhelmed with grief. At first, he thought it was just fate's cruelty, and he even expressed condolences to Min-hwan. But then the police arrived, suspecting Min-hwan of murdering his wife. Panicking, Min-hwan tried to flee, only making things worse. He ended up exposing himself and was arrested on the spot. Even as he protested, claiming it was an accident at most, the truth came out. When Young Soo-min was also taken away for questioning, Ji-hyuk realized things were far more complicated.